Hello everyone, welcome back. It is part 3 of our rebuild here at Florgrade Futebol Clube. I wanted to take some time just to get everyone up to speed on what's been happening here at the club. This video aims to take us to the January transfer window, just to give you an idea on what's been happening up to that point. First things first, if you had watched the last video, you would know that an issue had come up in the team. The squad was of the opinion that we had a lack of depth in the goalkeeping department, despite us having 3 healthy goalkeepers on the books. Because of that, the first thing that I did was put together a short list of potential goalkeeping options. I wanted to take some time to look at the kind of data hub in the game. Obviously, we haven't lost up until this point. It's the 11th of September. We hadn't lost any games. I wanted to get a sense on if we were sort of just getting lucky, or if the statistics were backing up our performance. As you can see, across the board, both in attack and defence, we are performing well above average for the league. For the attacking statistics, you can look at things like goals per game, non-penalty expected goals per 90, shots per game, and shot conversion percentage, and you can see that we're performing well above average in each of these. In defensive statistics, you can look at things like possessions won, clean sheets, and expected goals against per game, and you can see that we're performing well above average in defence also. Our September transfer deadline day was approaching. One thing that I noticed about the club is while we do have a relatively strong starting 11, we do struggle with depth, both in our kind of substitutes and sort of fringe players. Another thing that I noticed is that we don't have any money. As you can imagine, at this level, teams don't have a whole lot of money. We don't have a whole lot of money. With this in mind, I figured that the best thing to do was arrange a couple of loans for the team. And particularly my focus was on getting free loans wherever we could. We did make a couple of additions to the team, following these principles of loans and free loans. The first player that we added to the squad was Lucao. As you can see, we brought him in on a free loan. He does have a couple of very interesting attributes here. You can see that he has a strong jumping reach and strong tackling. He's also a very determined player, and he doesn't have any sort of major weaknesses for our level. So I figured, given that he was a free loan, he would be the perfect kind of player to bring into the team. Another addition that we made is 23-year-old defensive midfielder Adson. We brought him into the club, again as a free loan, to be an emergency backup covering the defensive midfield area. Looking at his statistics, again, we don't see any sort of outstanding attributes, but again, we don't see any major weaknesses. Given that his job will be sort of emergency cover, I figured that he was the perfect kind of player to bring in. The last of the signings that we made at this time was 26-year-old goalkeeper Thales. Again, another free loan. Again, another emergency backup player. The purpose in this signing was first, just to have a bit more cover in the team, and 2, to help clear up this kind of squad concern around lack of depth at goalkeeper. Again, no outstanding attributes for Thales, but again, no outstanding weaknesses. Perfect kind of player to bring in to get a bit of cover in the squad. Realising that we made these additions, I had to do a bit of restructuring around agreed playing time. I knew that if we were to just kind of go ahead, players would start to get unhappy. You can see that we have a number of players who are listed as substitutes with an agreed playing time of regular starters, so I had to change that wherever I could. We did make those changes. Hopefully that will prevent any sort of dynamics issues coming up around playing time. We did this restructuring for our substitutes, and we also took care of some of the more fringe players or young players at the club, just setting expectations on how often we expected that they would play. To help with player fitness, I looked to our B team. I set up a friendly schedule for the B team rolling into November. The idea is any players that we aren't playing regularly in the first team will keep their match sharpness through playing with the B team regularly. Over the first couple of games of the season, you can see that the players have adapted very well to our tactic that we set up. You can see a number of these good partnerships starting to form between players, and you can see that the familiarity with the tactic is very high also. Checking in with the club vision section, you can see that so far the board has been very pleased with our performance. No main criticisms to note, a couple of highlights there. All seems to be well in that aspect. Similar with the supporters as well. They seem to be relatively happy with the job that we're doing. We can take a look at team dynamics here. Hopefully you'll see the effect of both the training schedule that we built in the previous episodes, and part of this is also attributed to our good performance. Team cohesion when I came to the club was abysmal, and now it's average. A good bit of work's already been done there. You can see as well that the club atmosphere is good, and support from the manager is good also. No real areas for complaint there. One thing that I tried to sort out was match plans. I saw online that you could set up these kind of automatic match plans that would switch your tactic, mentality, that kind of thing, depending on what was happening in the game. I couldn't really get it to work, I'll be honest with you. I did set up a kind of routine that was like this, a match plan that was like this. It didn't really work. Not sure what I did wrong. If anyone could let me know what I did wrong, that would be appreciated. Thank you. One thing that I noticed also was the ratings on our staff members. As you can see, we are either slightly above average or well below average across different coaching and staff areas. This is something that I'm going to have to target going forward with the club here. We'll have some staff members that have contracts expiring this year. We'll make sure that they either do get renewals if they're worthy of being in the team, and if they're not, we'll make sure to let them go once their contracts end. Realising that we had a lot of improvement to do, early on I made a board request for more coaches, and you can see that that request was granted. Moving forward to the start of the January transfer window, I identified that there was a number of players with contracts expiring within the next 6 months. From those players, the first that I had identified as being worthy of an end of contract offer was this person, Abdoulaye Ndao, 19-year-old midfielder from the Senegal League. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with him yet. I'm not sure what position he is best in, but if you take a look, for our level, he has a really good spread on attributes, and if you consider the fact that he's only 19 years old, I get the sense that he's going to be a bit of a key player for us going forward here in the save. Otherwise, considering that we did have limited finances, I did a bit of loan business. Again, a couple more free loans here. First, a Brazilian, Guilherme Belea, best suited to be playing on the wing. He actually has a quite nice spread on his physical attributes, nothing really special otherwise. Seeing as he's a free loan, I figured he'd make a good addition to the team. Another addition that we made was 22-year-old Italian Nicolo Monti, again a free loan and an emergency backup at that. Not an outstanding player, but if we do have a number of injuries, he could slot into the team and it wouldn't be a complete disaster. The last bit of business that we did here was bringing in 19-year-old Englishman Rio Shipston. We brought him in from Sheffield Wednesday. We actually did agree to pay some of his wages. I think it was 10% of his wages that we were paying. If you have a look at the player and you have a look at his attributes, you'll get a sense of why we brought him in. He has a really good spread just across the board in physical attributes, mental attributes and technical attributes for our league. He's been brought in as a starting player here at the club. Hopefully he'll put in some good performances for us in the back half of the season. One thing that I forgot to set up at the beginning of this playthrough was mentoring groups, so I made sure going into the end of the January transfer window that we'd set this up. You can see that a number of younger players have been paired up with older influential players at the club with good personalities. The idea is that these players will pass on that good work ethic and any of their positive attributes to the younger players. Given that this is a series that concerns itself with record breaking, let's have a look at some of the records that we have broken so far. You can see that we went on a 6-game unbeaten run from the 20th of August. That's a new team record. That run of 6 games was also a new record for the Portuguese Championship. To date, we've put up 33 league goals. That's a new team record. You can see that we pushed beyond that 6-game mark and actually put our unbeaten run to 12 games. We pushed it even further, taking our unbeaten count to 18 games. We recorded a record number of wins for our team at 13 in a season. We also put up a record for points total for our team with 40 points this season. You can see that to date, we're actually completely unbeaten as a team. Our record from the 17th of September to now is 20 wins and 3 draws. Taking a look at some of our games here, one of the first things that I would highlight is our effective passing. You can see that we've had a lot of these kind of 2-3 pass combinations that have allowed us to get in behind our opposition. You can see here, Rurino takes the ball up the wing, drives it into the box, plays a nice little pass off to Kone, puts it in the back of the net. Another thing to highlight is our striker, Ricardo Barros. He is very much a proper poacher. You can see a lot of these kind of positions where he gets right in at the edge of the box and slips the ball in the back of the net. I want to highlight Ricardo Machado as a two-way threat on set pieces. You can see here in one game, he had a goal both off a corner and off a penalty as well. In the first round of the Portuguese Cup, we came up against Despotar, winning the game 3-1. As you can see in the match statistics, we had a larger share of the shots in the game, more shots on target, a higher expected goals count, and you can see that we relied on Jamie Poulsen putting up a hat-trick for us to win the game. In the second round of the competition, we were up against Bragança, who currently also play in the 4th Division. Again, we had the larger share of shots in the game, putting more on target, generating a higher expected goals count. We also retained the lion's share of the possession. We can thank Ricardo Barros and 2 goals from Gil Diaz to see us winning the game 3-0. The third round of the competition saw us come up against AC Viseu. They're a team that currently play in the 2nd Division of Portugal, 2 divisions above us. Let's take a look at the game to get a sense on what happened. It was a low-key affair. You can see that a scramble had occurred here that ultimately allowed a substitute that we brought on, Ben Coney, to put away a bit of a contested effort. Ultimately as well, a set piece found the head of Ricardo Machado to slot the ball home, finishing the fixture off at 2-0 to us. The match statistics indicate that this was a bit of a contested and scrappy game. AC Vaizu had more shots, we had more shots on target, expected goals was roughly the same, we retained slightly more of the possession. As you can see, the score of the game was 2-0, and with that, we're through to the 4th round of the Portuguese Cup, where we're up against Torrense, again playing in the 2nd division of Portugal, 2 tiers above us. With all Portuguese Premier League teams having entered the competition by this point, an opportunity for us to go away against one of these teams is now on the table. With revenue being shared in the Portuguese Cup, one of these away fixtures could essentially fund our season. Simply put, this game is a massive chance for us. An early set piece saw an opportunity be created just outside the box for Torrense. The resulting effort was cleared just over the bar. Another early Torrense set piece led to a bit of link-up play on the edge of the area. A rifled effort was tipped just over the bar by Leo Leichensari. We won a throw-in deep into the opposition's third. This led to a cross being put into the box, finding the head of Ricardo Barros, whose effort hit the post. Another set piece and another close call. Torrense's header was just over the bar. The result seemed inevitable, as Torrense was able to find the lead off of a corner headed into the back of the net. However, just before half-time, we won another throw-in deep in the opposition half. A bit of link-up play on the wing led to the ball coming into the area. Thiago Diogo faced a harsh challenge and we were awarded a penalty. It was team captain Ricardo Machado who stepped up, took a second, and calmly slotted away the penalty to equalise the game and take us to extra time. 10 minutes into extra time, Torrense's free kick turned into an open opportunity, put away that appeared to be the dagger for the game. But, in the last minute of extra time, a fringe player combo as Mania finds Ben Coney to equalise the game and take us to penalties. Correa scores for Torrense. Jimmy Poulsen makes it 1-1. Gomez makes it 2-1 to Torrense. Team captain Machado levels the scores again. Tavares puts it 3-2 to Torrense. Castro keeps it level at 3-3. And Di Alberto's penalty is saved, giving us a chance to take the lead. Our first signing, Bernardo Caldera, just gets the ball by the keeper, making it 4-3 Florgrade. Afonso scores. If we score next, we win. What a game that was! To win it on penalties too is just kind of the cherry on top of the cake. That's an excellent way for us to finish up this video talking about the first half of our first season. Hopefully everyone tunes in again next time. We can talk a bit more about the progress of the club. Thank you all very much for watching. See you all later.